Morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping. I've been away. I haven't been playing. I've been working, trying to get a lot of different things done. Biggest thing done is that schoolwork. Man, sun is bright. It's a bright, sunny day. Yeah, bees are out early. The bees that survived. There's one crazy hive over there in that corner that is bonkers. I mean, they're just doing what they do best, and that is fly. So, yeah, Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping here in Vermont with you folks again, just talking about mountainside beekeeping. And I'm just catching up. I've been busy as a bee. Spring is here. Spring is lovely. I'm trying to hang out in the shade because the sun is nice and bright. It's very sunny, but it's cool. It's cool in the shade, but nice and warm in the sun. And the bees behind me know it's nice and warm in the sun because they're out and about and they're flying like crazy, especially those hives that are right in the sunshine. They're taking off and they're flying. They're trying to find that food. They've been all cooped up because the weather was a little bit rainy yesterday, and then it got cold. It was down to 30, 32, and snowing up in higher elevation. Late, but to me, I'm used to it. It's always snowing at least a week, 10 days after my birthday, which is April 10th. So for those of you out there trying to figure out why my bees are wrapped, is because, yeah, I'm in the mountains of Vermont, and it's still snowing in some places, but not here, as you can see. And yeah, I've been away. I've been not playing, but been studying, trying to get things done, and also trying to get things done so that I can work with my honeybees. And as you can see, that one hive is already out. They're already foraging. They're already going pretty crazy, having fun finding that food. And that's what a few of these hives that are surviving. And I fed these hives, found it a few weeks ago because I'm trying to boost up these hives to get ready for the honey flow if we have one. But Mother Nature has been pretty weird about giving us some good weather. But that's all right. You know, the bees already enjoy it. They know what's going on. And the hives that are alive, these are Carniolan Russian hives, but mostly Carniolan genetics, so they don't really mind getting out in 40-something degree weather. And I still have some dead outs to get cleaned out, and I'm working on getting those dead outs clean. And you can't really see them, but there's one over there on the end by those nukes. And those nukes are all ready because I have 10 packages of carnies coming in that I'm going to pretty much just use to build up the apiary and use those as brood builders. When people know what those are. I learned that from Michael Palmer, a friend of mine. He calls me a friend, which is a nice thing to have somebody with that great experience call you a friend. But Mike has a great idea with the cell builders or brood builders. Both are great ideas, but the brood builders specifically is what I'm going to use these carnies for, to build up the dead outs that I have. And I have a few, so that few is basically among the 18 here. I have 7 dead outs, so 11 hives that are doing good, and a couple nukes that were small that are also just growing. And I'm like, wow, man, they're growing better than I thought. So that was a good thing for me. But I've been cleaning up, doing a lot of cleaning, getting this yard nice and ready. So I got some wildflowers. I planted some new fruit trees, a nice cherry tree right by that charger. And this is the Parmac charger that I have, folks. And this is to keep the bears out. And I didn't have it charged last night because no bears. Okay? And what do I mean by that? It's turkey hunting season, so it's keeping the bears away. So while the bears are away, Farmer James got a little bit lazy. Yeah. But that par 12, that par Mac, I'm not getting paid or any benefits from talking about that par Mac. All right, but it's done me well. And I suggest all you folks keep your bees safe from bears if you live in mountains like I am. And behind me, you might hear in the trees some woody woodpeckers out there. It's woodpecker mating season, so you might hear that chirping. It's also turkey mating season. That's why it's hunting season. The youth were out there doing turkeys, but I'm talking about honeybees. And my honeybees, I'm trying to keep them safe with using this Parmac, which is a really nice system here. And again, I'm not getting paid. And I run a 5-line system. Okay, folks. And what does that mean? Well, it means basically I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to keep the bears out with my par 12. Okay. And to keep the bears from getting to these beautiful hives. Man, the woodpeckers are going crazy. I keep hearing them doing their thing. But back to the bears. So yes, I use this par 12. I'm running 5 lines, running 4 inches off the bottom. Then from there, 4, then 5, 5, and 5. Okay, folks? Because I'm trying to keep out not just the bears, but also skunks. Also those little critters that can bother the bees at night, the skunks. And some people have told me, and they have showed me, fisher cats if you live in the mountains of Vermont. That's right, fisher cats. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's about 9:30 in the morning up here in the mountains. And I was out earlier than that. Yeah, just checking on things, making sure things are good and safe, because I forgot to turn on my fence. And probably because I was a little bit lazy, because the bears are being scared back up into the hills from all that shot that they're hearing from turkey season. So keeping them out with that 5-line fence, I got that design from, I think it was UNC. But anyway, folks, you could go and Google on how to keep your yard safe. And I use 5 lines for me because watching a video from a commercial beekeeper, I watched a bear sit like a dog and leap over 3 lines. And I said to myself, no, that is impossible, but I saw it, so to see it is to believe it. And that is a fact, okay? So anyway, I try to keep my bees safe. So I do 5 lines, keep the bee yard safe. And these are elderberries, and I got to cut these elderberries. I'm going to cut them back, make some more elderberry trees. I didn't realize how easy it is, so I'm going to do that. Whoa. I know, it was a bear, but I'm not scared. Not scared. I was. Anyway, that was weird. Tripped over the bear pole. I know. Do I edit that out or leave that in? No, I'm leaving that in. That was just me doing what I do. Farmer J's. Do a little stupid thing sometimes. Anyhow, yep, bear fence is a very good thing to have, folks. I do it. Also, I got 3 grounding rods placed about 6 feet apart. You can look up the instructions on putting in your bear fence. So I make sure I have my grounding rods in, and again, I run my 5 lines from my par 12. And you saw me trip, and I did trip because I wasn't paying attention to that grounding rod. And the grounding rod is hooked up to my par 12, which is right here, which is really good. I like it. It helps me out. It's a really nice system. Solar charger, that Parmac. They protect my bees from different things that could hurt them, like the bears, the skunks. And I have turkeys that might run through the field, up the mountain, because I live on cliffs. And yep. So yeah, They live on mountain cliffs, and I don't want to fall on those cliffs, but those cliffs behind me, there's a nice border to protect from the bears. Come down through these trees, okay? So I try to fence it off, try to use the dog, but they still might want to get to the honey and eat my larva. So that bear fence is a really good thing to have, folks. I remember years ago when I did it, and I lost my bees because I trusted people who said, oh, don't worry about Farmer James, your bees are protected. But I said, oh man, what happened? Oh, well, you know, first time in 30 years we've had bees here, so first time we've ever had a bear. And sometimes you might have that thing happen like over there, where bear will come through and knock down your fence. So I gotta hook that up because, yeah, we had one just walking around trying to figure out what was going on, but didn't get to the hives because I had that fence. So thank you, Power Mac, for, I paid for it, so I guess thanks for working, Power Mac, and keeping those bears out that just walk through the yard. So I recommend bear fencing. There's some really good videos about how to hook up your bear fence, how to protect your bees. I haven't had much time to really design anything for you folks. Again, I write columns for a newspaper. I'm also in 2 different grad programs, Cornell Master Beekeeping program, as well as at Penn State Extension program, working with Robin Underwood and her assistants, and focusing on trying to become one of the best bee breeders in the mountains of the state of Vermont, as well as the country, working with genetics that love foraging in the mountains. Again, this is Farmer James, just coming here, just walking around talking about and tripping and watching my bees as they go all over the flora fauna, folks. And these bees love the mountains. First thing they're doing is flying over my head. They also are flying around trying to find the mud and the dirt and the different things to forage on. And you might see my violets are starting to pop up here. The honeybees like these kind of violets. They also just really like flying around the mud. Okay, and I realized they love the minerals from the mud. And we have new birds that are nesting over here in my shed. So, yeah, I've been busy. I just recently moved this gate, so now it's on this side of the bee yard. It was on the other side of the bee yard because I wanted to make things accessible, because I'm going to build a shed right here for these bee boxes and some others on the other side of that shed. So I'm going to build a 3-sided lean-to take care of the bee boxes to make it easy. So I'm going to try to enter through here on this side now, folks, and go through this gate system that I've created for the bees. And you can see they're flying all over the place. And it's about 40-something degrees. These mountain bees had to go through a night of like 32 degrees, but now they're out and flying about because the sun is hitting these hives. It's a beautiful day here in Vermont. Again, I'm Farmer James, Outside Beekeeping. I'm trying to share with you how to be a successful beekeeper, as successful as I am. I am a columnist. I study 2 different grad programs. I've been beekeeping for many years, well, more than 8 years. Also, I just stepped down from the board of directors of the Vermont Beekeeper Association. I'm a certified Vermont beekeeper as well. Yeah, I do a lot of different things, but the many different hats I had, the most thing I really love is taking care of these bees. So yeah, folks, please take care of your bees. You know, you see my 5-line fence, and that 5-line fence is a great defense against these black bears that are always here to bother my bees, as well as to bother me. All right, that one hive you might see where I've let the cover come off, folks, that's a dead out. So I'm not concerned about that. But the other ones that still have their covers on, it's because they are building up well, and I do not want to have chill brood in the colonies. So I'm allowing that to happen. And I'll probably take it off next week as temperatures should remain above 40 at night. But again, this was a crazy night. Last night, temperatures dropped to 32 degrees, and wow, April 27th, Sunday. So today's Monday morning, starting out the week, and in the month, I have Cornell just started, so I'm doing the second quarter. We're focusing on pesticide management, pesticides and pest. The bug pest side, not the nuisance pests, the things that keep out the bears, etc. But the pests like hive beetles, varroa mites, etc. So yeah, if you want to hear about that, leave your questions in the comments below. Let me know if you like what I'm saying, don't like what I'm saying. Hey, give me some ideas what to say. Let me know where you're at in the country. Again, I just a simple thing about bear protection. Keep your bears out to keep your bees safe. All right, because boo-hoo, it could be Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a poet. I'm a beekeeper. Remember, I'm just Farmer James, just a beekeeper. Talking about beekeeping in the mountains. Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping is what I talk about. And keeping bees healthy and safe is what I always want to talk about. Again, Farmer James, I'm not ducking and diving. I'm wearing a hat, and hopefully I'll take it off. But, folks, it's still cold. I don't like the cold. I suppose temperatures will rise, and hopefully will rise to keep the bees nice and growing. I know my colonies are growing. I know the bees are foraging. They are literally drinking water off of everything they can. Those are my black bees right there. That's the carniolan. And she's doing pretty good. And like I said, folks, I have carniolans and I have Russian bees over there. And I'm keeping them safe. They're growing well. I won't be doing any splits. I'll probably rotate the hives next week, because we're still going to have a couple nights around 35 or maybe below. And I don't want any chill brood. I want to keep that brood growing. I've been feeding for the last month, if you folks have been following me. So yeah, because I know based on the sunshine, they're building up inside that hive. So giving them the supplements and nutrients that they need. And folks, these hives are all heavy. They really didn't eat a lot of their stores, which is surprising, but maybe not, because those are the traits I wanted. So each of those hives still have pretty much a full super and partial deep of food. So I had to score so that they get into that honey and eat that honey up. So I'm really not feeding them, but I did give them pollen patties, because after a crazy heavy downpour, we lost a lot of the maple pollen was coming, but we're going to get a nice boom off these trees. A nice bloom is happening this spring, which is great. And the bees are doing good. So what can I say? Is keeping my fingers crossed. But other than that, the bees are doing good. These bees are doing great. I'm going to graft from these few hives that I find that are doing and growing the way that they should, coming out of the winter, going into this spring. But as I said, I do have some package bees coming in. They're carniolans coming in from California. I'm going to add to those. Actually, the double deep boxes, which I have right over here, is double deep equipment that I have stacked over there as well. So those double deep boxes I will also use to help me out with managing these 10 different package bees that I'm getting. I'm just going to put them in double nukes and use those as brood builders, folks, for colonies. I'll make nukes when I start to graft this year. All right. But yeah, Farmer James Beekeeping. I hope I talk about what you're thinking about, and that is honeybees Yeah, I mean, I can tell you many stories about the bears and what they did, but yeah, I already had my Winnie the Pooh boo-hoo, and it wasn't fun, okay? And yeah, folks, so yeah, invest to keep out the pest, the nuisance pest that is. All right, invest in your brain to keep down those other pests, the varroa mites, hive beetles, ants, whatever you have in your hives. I do it naturally, so I really try to keep those hives as natural as I can. So yes, my only treatment is essential oils. And the bees know how to do their brood breaks and whatever to control varroa mites. So I don't use any miticides, all right? Anyhow, Farmer James Beekeeping, hey, just I already said that. Anyway, let me know who you are, where you are, leave your comments, subscribe, like, let me know what I could say more. But I just wanted to say invest in taking care of your bees, so you don't have to go through the boo-hoo about Winnie the Pooh. All right? Farmer James Mountside Beekeeping, take care of your bees. Your bees are you, your bees are me. Farmer James.